In the spring of 2004 is when my photography really took off. This was my cockatiel PD. Unfortunately, by the time I really got into photography, most of my career at St. Cloud State was over, and I only captured these few images from around campus. I drove by this house every day on my way to school, and I always loved it. Still working as a fueler for St. Cloud Aviation out at the airport, this particular day I was refueling a medical helicopter. This was my favorite job because I knew I was helping other people. My college girlfriend and I decided we could use a little adventure. So we borrowed Junior for a few days and headed west. This is the Chamberlain Bridge in South Dakota. We traveled through the Badlands of South Dakota and had such a great time. We were just so happy to be free. One of the greatest things about visiting an off-peak season is that nobody else is around. It was an eerie morning when we entered Black Hills National Forest in search of Mount Rushmore. It was a terribly foggy day and we saw nothing, but that's okay. I had seen it before and I would see it again. On our way home, we took the most remote path we could, and I snapped this photo, one of my favorites. Then it was back to Minnesota and on with our college careers. Blake calls me up one day and says they're testing the new tunnel under the airport of the new light rail system. They need people to come down and role play being bomb victims. We all sat on the train for 8 hours that day while various service personnel rescued us from the tunnel. I spent a lot of time with Bill just exploring central Minnesota. We drove around to various locations and I took photographs. It was such a peaceful time in my life. Here are some of the images. This one I call the post. About this same time is when I first learned how to build websites. I decided that I needed a website of my own to display my images, and it was sometime in 2004 that I developed my first website, Swiss Perpetual. One day I spotted this amazing Fiero for sale, and it was too good of a deal to pass up. I was never really a Fiero fan, but this thing was so amazing. It had the 6-cylinder with a 4-speed mid-mounted. It had the Holley air intake and all the Holley upgrades, complete with deck lids in the back of the SE model. I took every interior piece out of this vehicle and completely remodeled it. This car was fast as hell and so much fun to drive. I loved it. Then I sold it for $1,000 more than I had invested and delivered it to Fort Smith, Arkansas.